This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Common man, no show prep, no solid plan. Spins a yarn, begins a tale. The esoteric approach won't fail. Tune in, it's time for Common Man. Common man, charms the housewives like no one can. What you shoot? Where'd we play? Non-stop nonsense on deck today. Tune in, it's time for Common Man.
Why should anybody aspire to be a common man, an average man? Do you realize what it means to be average? That means you're the best of the lousiest, and the lousiest of the best. Now, if we demand more and more for producing less and less, while the have-not nations encourage and inspire and indeed require hard work and maximum effort, if we deify the common men while they encourage and reward the uncommon ones, well, the end result of such a lopsided race as that is too obvious to require elaboration.
We're coming.
I'm a fraud.
Yes.
You like that? You like that?
Yeah, baby.
He's the clown from Brown. He's the fourth in the north. This is the common man, Dan Cole.
You can make it hot. Did you already? Greetings. Good afternoon, and ack-ack-a-dack, and dak-dak-ack you and yours. Ack-ack-a-dack. Dak-dak-ack is what? It's your password for tomfoolery and skullduggery. We'll also gain you admission to a meeting of the Loyal Order of Water Buffalo. Ooh la la. Ooh la la. It will not get you into the Minnesota State Fair. It's about $20 to get inside the doors today, which is about what it costs to see a Flop, Sweat, and Tears tour comedy show, which we will be announcing the tour sometime soon. Thanks for coming by to the Minnesota State Fair. We're in the shadows of the grandstand, Carousel Park, our fan stands presented by Mesh, Besher, and Spence. Plenty to get to today. A lot of topics out there. Really not sure where to start. So why don't we go ahead and spin the wheel of topics? We've got Wheel of Topic t-shirts for sale here. The more we sell, my job stability
Commons
is better.
golf game.
Hey, I had no idea it would land on Commons golf game.
Are people actually applauding the Wheel of Topic?
Yes. Well, what did you expect?
I just didn't have that on my bingo card. That's all. I thought it would be.
What did you shoot today?
84.
Where'd we play?
Loggers Trail.
Where'd you hit it on? One.
Perfect drive right up the gut.
How far from the greenway?
We started on 10. They had to start on 10.
Second
I
shot?
still had a long way to go, so I hit a hybrid.
The 5-iron might as well be a pitchfork. How far from the greenway?
Had 95 yards.
Then what?
Pin. Thinned it, went long. I mean, it was on the green, but I had that really,
Don't want to be long.
That dicey downhiller from about 13, 14.
Then what?
Was cautious, but not too cautious. Went a couple feet by, tapped in, made par. Was on pace to shoot 72, and then it just kind of got away from me at that point. And if you put it this way, if the golf god whispered in my ear, "You'll never shoot better than 84 again," you would never have the Wheelotopic spin span spun again. That'd be it. That's not worth it to me. You like?
Oh, 84? I love 84. Yeah,
I don't like
I'm
84.
happy after an 84.
I'm not happy after 84. So we got through it. We made it. It was, it's again. I just don't know what I would do with my time if I didn't play golf. I suppose I could go play bingo and take a nap. That might be something I could do, but I'm not sure that's really in my, is something I really want to do. We're here until 3 o'clock today. Big Ticket's going to be back in studio. Is the Power Trip scheduled to be here, but they won't be here?
I think both Barrero and Power Trip will not be here today.
We are well aware of the tragedy in South Minneapolis today with the church/school shooting. From the latest, and if there is a news conference, we'll air it here on the radio station. The latest is a gunman shot up a church today during Mass. It was a school Mass, I guess. And 2 children are dead. I think 17 others are injured and hospitalized in various conditions. Shooter, I think, is dead. Is that correct?
He took his own life.
Yeah, he took his own life.
I shouldn't say he, but I don't know that.
Might have wanted thought about doing that about an hour prior to his heinous act, but he didn't do that. So. And it's so we're aware of it, and we're as sad as anybody else. It's very tragic. I'm not gonna. It's really not my style to try to wax poetic about it and try to talk about how tragic it is. What we can do, we all know, and it's like I don't know where we go. But 2 children dead in a shooting in Minneapolis church, and the police say the shooter died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. So. With that pall hanging over the show today, we'll still try to get through it. On a lighter note, you got your wish. You wanted Adam Thielen.
Yep.
You wanted Adam Thielen. Everybody wanted him. How many people are just so excited to have Adam Thielen back with the Vikings? Clap your hands. How many people think he's the difference from maybe squeaking into the playoffs to holding a parade sometime in February of next year? They're buying it, Tenenby. They're drinking the Kool-Aid. They're buying the hope.
If Adam Thielen was from Nebraska, would we be having the same feeling?
I don't think we would care. Even if he was from just the other side of the border, like if he's from Hudson, Wisconsin, I don't think we would care that much. But because he's from Thief River Falls and he played his football at Morehead State, we love him. We love him. It's because he's got to be one of us. And he had a very, he's mid-30s now, right? 35, 36 years old. Played most.
He's up to 35, which is very old for a wide
receiver.
He
was an undrafted free agent. I think most people are familiar with the story. Had a number of quality years for us. He turned out to be a really good football player. He had, I think, a couple of Pro Bowl appearances. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's like 3rd on the all-time list of Viking wide receivers in receptions. I think Moss and Carter are 1 and 2. And then I think it's, and I don't even know if it's Moss or Carter, which one's first or second. I think they both, all Chris Carter did was catch touchdown passes, as you know, so I'm not sure. But I think Adam Thielen is 3rd on that list in receptions all time. For Minnesota Vikings.
He is. He's 55 behind Randy Moss, so maybe he passes him this year.
There's a distinct possibility. If he catches 55 passes, I'll leave town. That's a lot of passes to catch for a number.
That being said, Justin Jefferson could also pass Adam Thielen this year because Justin Jefferson is 39 behind Thielen.
I think there's a greater chance that Justin Jefferson will pass Thielen than Thielen will pass Chris Carter.
It's pretty crazy, assuming JJ is healthy, Justin Jefferson. This year, he could become 2nd on that list in Vikings history for reception. Yeah. And he still feels like he's extremely young.
Thielen hasn't been as productive here since he left Minnesota. I don't know what his numbers were last year. They were okay. He was injured for 7 games. I think he had a hammy injury.
We know how those can be, especially as when you get up there in age, those things can recur. Is that the right word? It can be a recurring thing. I'm not sure.
So he missed 7 games, but he had 48 catches for 615 yards and 5 tutties.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm certainly...
Year before, he topped 1,000 yards and 100 catches.
I'm certainly not against it. I don't think it's a bad move at all. You know, and people talk about what did you have to give up to get him and this and that. I looked at it. It seemed confusing. I think that we gave up a 4th-round pick, did we not? We got a couple of picks from them. We gave a couple of picks, so we gave them
basically some pick swaps.
We gave them a 4th, so they got the better pick out of the deal than that. But, you know, when you're going for a player who 2 years ago caught 1,000 passes, I guess that's what you got to do. So it was a need they had to address, and they didn't sit on it because with Addison, you know, and I would hope the kids learn his lesson because not only are you affecting yourself, right? And you know, when you're drinking and driving, you're also endangering other people. But I always let down his teammates and fans, right? Because, you know, you got to make better decisions. So now because of his poor decision making, he is now suspended for 3 games, and the Vikings were put in a position where we have to trade draft picks to try to get another wide receiver. Now, it may end up working out in the favor of the Vikings as far as getting Adam Thielen back because I think he's excited to be here. Not that if he was still with Carolina, he wouldn't be giving it the old college try, but oftentimes your energy level and your excitement even builds more when I'm back at home. This is where I want to be. It's really exciting, and so maybe he'll even take it to another level and return to those thrilling days of yesteryear. So, good move, and I don't expect anything else unless do you think there's going to be a secondary move? Or somebody in the secondary? Because I know they were thinking of maybe another cornerback, correct? That was been talked about.
I think there's potentially a lot of different moves that could still happen.
Oh, really?
In the next week and change before we get into the regular season.
Like what do you think those might be?
They kept 7 undrafted free agents on the roster, which is a lot. The thought of some is, well, maybe they just kept them through the first waiver, so then they can stash them on the practice squad later.
Oh, okay.
You know, a Stephon Gilmore is still available as a cornerback out there who played for the Vikings last year. He has not been picked up by anybody. And then, you know, you always have, like, unknown injuries, right? Like, I didn't expect Ty Chandler to make the roster, but as of right now, he's still on the roster because C.J. Ham is dealing with some sort of injury. But, you know, I could see something happening in the next week where Ty Chandler's out on the roster.
Well, let's put it this way. I guess when I'm talking about moves, I mean like something where you kind of...
Significant moves.
Yeah, you raise your eyebrows a little bit. And
I think trading your backup quarterback and picking up Adam Thielen is kind of as significant as we're going to get.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to get much more than that. I agree with you as well. So let's do this. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll take a peek at the purple because there's more to dive into because if it's Viking football, there's nothing bigger, is there? So we'll do that with the peek at the purple. How about this? Brian Oak, the legendary Brian Oak, will join us at 1 o'clock. We're going to do is it 1 o'clock you'll be here, right?
He'll be here 1 to 2.
1 o'clock. We're going to do a little rock talk, and we're also going to play one of our favorite games. Tenby came up with this idea. I don't know where he came up with this. I'm surprised it's never been done before. Sometime in the recent past, and not a long time ago. It's called Name That Tune. You ever heard it? It's something Tenby came up with. He's going to try to put it, box it, and make it into a game and follow in the footsteps of Corey
I always
Cole.
love that one.
We'll pause. We'll return. We're broadcasting live from Carousel Park. We're in the shadows of the grandstand. It's the Fan live from the fair. Here at the Minnesota State Fairgrounds. I'm the common man, Dan Cole. And this is Tenby. We are a Carousel Park in the shadows of the grandstand or fan stands. Brought to you by Mesh, Besher, and Spence Lawyers. Tomorrow, Michael Russo. Is that tomorrow? All day, every day? He'll be with us for an entire hour tomorrow.
Lots of hockey talk tomorrow.
We'll do lots of hockey talk.
Because we got 2 Frost players coming at 2:15 tomorrow as well. Taylor Heisey and Grace Zumwinkle.
That's where The Russo hockey hour is sort of my version of PA, where I'll just leave the booth for a while and you guys can talk because I'm not a big hockey guy.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
That's kind of the equivalent.
You
of it. So
you want me to take it out of break for you too?
I'll just say, Tenby, you take this out of break.
Okay,
and
I'll
you'll
take it out of break
there, and then I'll go wander around and verbally slap people on the back.
We should mention, in case there were people coming out to the fair for the power trip tonight, as we mentioned, Barrero is going to be. But this point, Barrero and the power trip both are. The power trip's not doing a show tonight anymore. Barrero's going to be doing his show in studios. The power trip, because of the shooting in Minneapolis, they are going to be out here on Labor Day, 2 to 4 o'clock. So
very good.
That show has been moved to Monday, 2 to 4.
So, Peek at the Purple is brought to you by our friends at Affordable Electric. Affordable Electric. I think if you're interested in an electric vehicle, and a lot of people are, as a matter of fact, this tax rebate or whatever it is, tax break, it's going to expire on the $7,500 is going to expire the last day of September. Expire. So I know that there are a lot of dealerships that I talked to the folks at Mauer. This was last week. They only had 2 EVs left on the lot because people are going, well, I want that $7,500. I want to go electric. And so they bought them. But then if you're going to need that 240 volt plug-in at your house, well, guess what? The folks at Affordable Electric can do that for you. They can take care of all of your electrical needs. Affordable Electric. Affordable-electric.com is the way to get a hold of them. Affordable-electric. Remember, Affordable Electric is shockingly affordable. Feels like a cattle prod. Hey, so now we're going to do some negativity. I'm the only one that brings any glass half empty stuff to regarding the Vikings. This is a pretty, and I have to do it. Somebody's got to try to balance it out. I was looking at one of those list. You know, we list radio is what? Lazy radio.
Yep.
And is there anybody lazier than me?
Common Man Radio is
lazy radio.
There you go.
Yeah,
so that makes sense.
And so you can probably tell that I put my feet up on the counter. So I'm looking at CBS Sports predicting last place team in each NFL division in 2025. AFC East, New York Jets. Makes sense. They were 5-12 last year. Terrible team, terrible city, terrible fans, terrible stadium. Everything about them is terrible. In your AFC North,
the rest of that division's terrible.
Well, that's terrible too.
Other than Buffalo.
AFC North, Cleveland Browns are predicted to be your last place team. AFC South, the Indianapolis Colts. They were in second place last year, even though they were 8-9. That's another terrible division, right?
They're going with Daniel Jones as their starting quarterback.
AFC West, they're predicting the Denver Broncos, who were 10-7 in third place last year, are going to plummet to the bottom of those standings.
Because I've seen a lot of Denver's been a trendy pick as a team that can be a big game contender, right? You know, because a lot of these people, if you have to pick a big game contender, they're bored of just picking Kansas City and Buffalo and Baltimore and Philadelphia, Detroit. So they try to come up with trendy ones, and I feel like Denver is that trendy one this year.
The New York Giants are not a trendy one. They are predicted to finish last like they did last year. They were 3-14 last year. Not a lot of hope for that club. You have your NFC South, the New Orleans Saints. They were last place last year. They were 5-12. People are expecting...
That should be the easiest one.
Exactly. NFC West, Seattle Seahawks, they were 10-7 and in second place last year. CBS Sports says they will drop to the bottom of that division and finish dead.
They don't like Sam Darnold, huh?
I guess they don't like Sammy Darnold. They don't like the Minnesota Vikings either.
No way.
NFC North, Minnesota Vikings, they predict will go from a 14-3 record, second place last year, to finishing last.
You've got to be kidding me.
I'll read what they wrote. The Minnesota Vikings continue to boast arguably the best offensive ecosystem in the NFL. They have 2022 NFL Offensive Player of the Year, Justin Jefferson, whose 7,432 career receiving yards are the most in NFL history in a player's first 5 seasons all time. Greatest of all time. He is surrounded by 2023 first-round pick Jordan Addison, well, sort of, at least for some of the season. He has the 3-game suspension. 2-time Pro Bowl tight end T.J. Hawkinson, Pro Bowl running back Aaron Jones, and Coach Kevin O'Connell, the reigning NFL Coach of the Year. All of that.
What's the problem?
All of that offensive talent will be tasked to 2024 10th overall pick J.J. McCarthy. The problem is McCarthy's draft profile entering his rookie year was that of a bust. And then he became the first quarterback taken in the first round in the common draft era to miss his entire rookie season with an injury. McCarthy tearing his meniscus last preseason prevented him from developing while on the bench as a rookie. He is also the first-round quarterback drafted with 0 collegiate seasons with either 3,000 passing yards or 500 rushing yards since these Vikings selected Christian Ponder 12th overall in the 2011 NFL Draft. The most recent passer selected in the top 10 like McCarthy without either such season at the college level was the Motor City Kitties 2002 third overall pick, Oregon quarterback Joey Harrington. He was a complete bust. The NFC North is one of the best divisions in football, and having an unproven passer who didn't produce at a high level in college could spell a last place finish for Minnesota in 2025. Finally, somebody not looking at the Vikings through purple-colored glasses. I don't necessarily think it's going to be that bad. I don't think they're going to finish in last place. But everything that's in there, those are just the facts. That doesn't mean that he can't be brilliant or even serviceable as an NFL quarterback. I mean, we've heard it before. He's won everywhere he's been. He's lost 3 games as a quarterback in high school and college football, but you saw the numbers, no 3,000 passing yard seasons, no 500-yard rushing seasons, playing with the best team in college football. Was he a part of the reason they were the best team in college football? I'll give him that. But I need to see more than he's had 2 series, right? Or no, he did before he hurt his knee, did he have...
He played a couple series.
He played a couple series
year,
there.
Yeah, because he threw an interception on the first one.
Okay.
He almost played, I think he might have played like an entire half.
Okay, so he played one half of...
Because the injury didn't take him out of the game. He finished...
Right. He's played one half and 1 series of football in preseason. Now, again, that's okay too, but I still think for me, before I dive into the deep end of the pool, I need to see a little bit, and I think the first 5 games would probably be... Does that seem like the first 5 games seem to be on paper a little less difficult for the Vikings?
A little less difficult, but he might have less help to work with.
That's exactly right.
With Jordan Addison, and who knows what his chemistry with Justin Jefferson is at this point, given he's been out for a while. Well, here's what I'd say: the writer wasn't at the second joint practice against the New England Patriots. That's all I know. Right. I saw him there, and the guy was on a heater.
Right.
He looked like a big time quarterback to me, at least during that little stretch. But you can definitely make an argument that J.J. McCarthy will be the worst quarterback in this division, right? I mean, Jared Goff, I think, has proven over the last couple of years he's a top 10 quarterback in the National Football League right now. Jordan Love might be more in that 11 to 13 range. He's knocking on the door of being a top 10 quarterback. And then Caleb Williams was a better prospect than J.J. McCarthy. He was drafted higher than him in that draft. Now, we saw what he did last year, and that wasn't a very good first season. So, J.J. McCarthy is a huge wild card. We're not going to know what we're going to get until we get into the regular season. But if you wanted to make the argument he's the worst quarterback in the division, which therefore would lead you to believe they'll be the worst team in the division, I can hear it.
I think, for me, more important, and they listed all the offensive weapons that he has, and on paper they have a pretty good offensive line, too. I still think maybe what will benefit him the most is again, on paper, what is considered to be one of the better defenses in pro football. Because if you have a defense that can get the other team to do a number of 3-and-outs, or at least not give up a lot of points,
get you good field position.
Get your good field position. That means your offense is going to have them. You're going to get several tries. That's not like you're going to get, if your defense isn't very good and the other team goes on a 7-8 minute drive, scores a tutty, you get the ball, you go 3-and-out, the other team gets the ball again, goes on another 7-minute drive, gets another try. It's 14-0. We're midway through the second quarter. You've had the ball once or twice. That makes it more difficult to get into any kind of flow to learn the game, because it's going to be learning on the fly. You know, back in the olden days, if they drafted a quarterback, he sat forever. He had an older guy up in front of him, and now that doesn't happen anymore. If you're drafted in that top 10, even if you're in first or second round, a lot of times you're told you're the starting quarterback, go and do it. So it's not that it hasn't been done before, but...
one final point before we go to break.
Sure.
The stats he brought up of the 3,000 yards passing he never hit in college, never hit the 500 yards rushing in college. One slight difference. Didn't have the quarterback whisperer at Michigan.
No, he didn't.
Now he's got the quarterback whisperer.
He did not have the quarterback whisperer at Michigan. So we'll bounce this off the legendary Mark Rosen. He will join us at 2 o'clock. Remember, Ryan Oak at 1 o'clock. Let's take a break, come back with more. By the way, Peek at the Purple, brought to you by our friends at Affordable Electric. For all of your electrical needs, affordable-electric.com. We're broadcasting live. We're at Carousel Park in the shadows of the grandstand. We're live from the Minnesota State Fair, right here on the Fan.
I like this.
Yeah, it's kind of a nice groove. Broadcasting live from the Minnesota State Fairgrounds. We're in the shadows of the grandstand at Carousel Park. I'm Comedy's Tenebee.
I feel like
Ryan Oak. What, you can't hear at all?
Can't hear at all?
Crank it up. Is that any better? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Ryan Oak will join us for Rock Talk at 1 o'clock. We'll talk a little of this, a little of that, with the emphasis on the lad until about 1:30. And at 1:30 is when we'll start Name That Tune. Is that correct?
1:30, Name That Tune.
Name
I think
that tune.
Third year in a row.
Yeah, and I think I'll get trounced again. Oak's really
No,
good.
you're pretty competitive with him on that one.
Oh, I am.
Yeah.
But I'm
You're thinking of Music Jeopardy, which we used to play with you in Swedberg, where you didn't compete very well there.
No,
But Name That Tune,
I panic too much.
Plus, it's Name That Tune songs before 1990. So yeah, there's no songs after 1990.
It's after 1990. It's basically a gimme for Oak, because he transcends all decades. He listens to a little of everything. So he'll be joining us at about 1 o'clock. Then the legendary Mark Rosen will be with us at 2 o'clock as well. Okay, so I got another list, because list radio is what? Lazy radio. And what is Common Man Radio? Lazy radio is what it is, but it's a lazy, hazy days of summer. Ranking the 2025 NFC contenders by tiers. And we've cried a lot here, but it's a different tiers. It's the TIERS.
How many tiers are there?
Well, let me see. I'll take a look, and I didn't count how many tiers. You kind of caught.
Did they name the tiers, or is it just like tier 1, tier 2?
I think they're just tier 1, tier 2. There's tier 1 is real deal contenders.
Sure.
Hold on. Tier number 2 is fringe contenders.
Fringe contenders. Okay.
Tier number 3 is wild card wilderness. Wild card wilderness. And then tier number 4, how many days until the 2026 NFL draft? No,
I always love that one.
The Vikings are not in the how many days until the
I figured that.
2026 NFL draft. I know you were
I got one team in there for sure.
I know that you were very disappointed that the Vikings, who will finish dead last in the division, you were I think you were surprised and even annoyed and disappointed that the Vikings were listed by CBS Sports as predicted to finish dead last. Of the first list, which
real deal contenders,
on number 1, there are 4 teams in the real deal contenders.
Okay.
Who do you think those 4 teams are? Now, this could be a different guy from CBS Sports, just so you know. They have like 1,400 writers.
100?
So, yes, 100. So the one guy that's saying they'll finish dead last, the guy that's writing this one could say they're going to win the whole thing. So you know how it goes. But who do you think they have tier 1 real deal?
I have 3 on my mind, so the 4th one will be interesting. But I think the 3 of them that are in are the Philadelphia Eagles.
Correct.
The Detroit Lions.
Correct.
And the Washington Commanders.
No.
Really? Mm-mm. Huh. Well, sometimes a lot of these national writers, they love themselves the Green Bay Packers. So I'm going to say Green Bay.
Green Bay is they're loving them some Green Bay Packers, which I do think Green Bay is going to be. They were good. They were 11-6 last year. Problem is, I think anytime they played a really good team, they lost. But still, they were 11-6. That's a quality team. It seemed to be gotten better. But yeah, the love of the Green Bay Packers by the national media seems to be.
They always overrate them. And then, so the other one, then, if it's not Washington, it has to be either Tampa Bay, or the LA Rams.
It is the LA Rams.
Yeah, I was going to say, it depends on Stafford's. Stafford's back feels like mine right now. I'm a little concerned about how the Rams season is going to go at the quarterback position.
Here's what they say about Green Bay. I won't read what they said about the other teams, but for Green Bay, it says they've reached the postseason in both the quarterback Jordan Love's 2 years as successor to Aaron Rodgers, and he's done so with the 2 youngest teams to reach the playoffs across the last 45 seasons. Green Bay literally didn't have any scrimmage yards on offense from players older than the age of 26 in 2024. Despite all the youth last season, Green Bay fielded top 10 scoring offense, 27.1 points per game. That was 8th best in the NFL. And a top 10 scoring defense, 19.9 points per game allowed, 6th best in the NFL. They also got even younger on offense, with 2025 first-round pick wide receiver Matthew Golden expected to play a major role right away. The Packers also bolstered their secondary with the signing of versatile cornerback Nate Hobbs, who is also just 26. Green Bay could level up from being a team with a bright future to one making a deep playoff run. Sounds positive. I mean, if you read that, you would go, boy, I mean, because I didn't realize, I knew they were a young team, but I didn't realize how young they were and where they were ranked offensively and defensively. The rankings can be misleading. I get that, but that does see. I guess I can see why some nationally are predicting another step forward for Green Bay.
I feel like I've said this a million times about the Packers wide receivers. Now we have to go it again because this writer went with the narrative of how young the offense is. First of all, the running back, Josh Jacobs, in terms of running back age, is not that young anymore. The wide receivers, just because you are young doesn't mean you are going to be better in future years. They would have said the same exact thing about the Green Bay wide receiver core a year ago, that, well, they're young, they're going to get better. They didn't get better. They were the exact same as they were the year before, so much so that they had to go use their top draft pick on a wide receiver this year in Matthew Golden. So just because you're young and you don't have as much experience doesn't mean you're going to be ascending all the time. You can still stay where you're at.
Here's what they said about the Lions, the last in the, what was it, Real Deal?
I've been in the same position for 20 years now. At one point, I was young.
Your name's not Golden, though, either.
No, but you still got to have a certain amount of talent to go along with it. Yeah.
The Detroit Lions were the NFC's number 1 seed with a 15-2 record, NFL's number 1 scoring offense. They returned most of the key on-field contributors to that success a season ago, but they've lost both offensive and defensive coordinators. The Lions should remain plenty of fun in 2025, but they barely stuck into the top contention tier. So they like the Lions, but they were, I think it sounds like that was the 4th team they selected to be in the, what was it called again?
The Real Deal Contender?
Real Deal Contenders.
Well, Detroit, I mean, there's a little bit of cause for concern. You can make an argument against it. And people are focusing on the coordinators. I would probably focus more on the offensive line with the retirement of Ragnow. They've had some health issues on that offensive line, which I think was one of the main reasons that offense has been top 5 over the last 2 years. Now, they still have some great skill position players elsewhere, but if Jared Goff doesn't have the time to make those plays, all of a sudden those skill position players aren't going to be able to do as much. Now, you could also argue, what you have a billion times, defensively they were so beat up last year, they should be able to take a step up on that side of the ball, regardless of whether you had a coordinator change or not. Just health-wise.
And in talk about the protection of the offensive line, we all know, I mean, Goff's like a lot of guys out there. When he's got time to throw, he can. Most NFL quarterbacks, if they're given all the time in the world, they can carve up pretty much any defense, right? If you give them 3-4 seconds back there, they're going to complete passes. Goff's got a lot of cousins in him. If he's not real mobile. If he doesn't have a lot of time, he can throw the ball over. So again, you're right about the offensive line.
But if he's got lots of time, he can kill you.
Correct.
Yeah.
Tier 2, fringe contenders. There are 2 teams.
Just 2?
Just 2 in that one.
Well, I'm going to put Washington.
That's one. And you mentioned the other one. Tampa Bay. So they have those 2 teams.
Oh, no. Then we're out in the wilderness, huh?
We're in the wild card wilderness. There are 7 teams in the wild card wilderness.
Oh, well, we got to go with the purple.
Yep.
I think let's go with. I mean, those teams out in the West got to be it. If there's 7 of them, it's got to be San Francisco.
Correct.
Let's do Arizona.
They're in there.
Where am I at? 3?
Yep.
Let's do Dallas.
They're in there.
Atlanta.
They're in there.
They got 2 more. I'm going to throw Chicago in there.
Chicago in there.
We already said the Vikings, right?
No, you didn't, but they're in there. And then there's one other one. Another West Coast team.
Seattle.
Seattle.
Yeah, so that whole division.
So that whole division. Here's what it says about the Bears. It says, Canoe Bears coach Ben Johnson, the team's retooled offensive line of left tackle Braxton Jones, left guard Joe Thuney, center Drew Dahlman, and right guard Jonah Jackson, and right tackle Darnell Wright maximize 2024 first overall pick quarterback Caleb Williams. If so, the Bears will be a playoff team. Do you think if the offensive line is really good, that's enough? Do you think their defense? Because the Bears' defense is solid, right? Or
They were good last year.
Okay.
Yeah. I think Chicago is the hardest team to place because I could see them taking a big jump, right? You've got, speaking of young players and them ascending, like you have a new head coach who was thought to be one of the great offensive minds in the game the last couple of years and was coordinating a top 5 offense. If he's Chicago's own version of the quarterback whisperer with a guy who, Caleb's talented, right? Whether he can process and figure out the game and read defenses, I don't know about that, but in terms of just physical talent, there's a reason he went number 1 overall. So you look at the skill position players around him. They are, I think, pretty good in that regard. I don't know how much of their running game they're going to be able to have to help out Caleb Williams. I think they're going to be a little weak there. And they obviously put a lot of resources into the offensive line. So I see a scenario in which, hey, I can see a big jump out of that team. But then I could also argue, well, maybe Caleb just isn't that great, and you're hanging on to him because he's the number 1 overall pick, that he can't figure it out. He's also learning a new offense for his second year in 2 years. Like, there's probably going to be a transition there that maybe Caleb will figure it out, but I would bet on him not figuring it out this year. So I think the Chicago Bears will be last in the North and won't make the playoffs.
are you familiar with the phrase cut and paste?
Copy and paste? Or
Is it copy and paste?
Copy and paste,
Copy and paste, and what does that mean?
So when Ben Lieber has a take,
Yes.
Mark Rosen copies and then pastes it as his own.
Okay, very good. I think that's what they've done at CBS Sports. Tell me if you've heard this before. The Vikings have everything they need to be great except the quarterback. McCarthy, the 10th overall pick in the 2024 NFL draft, is fresh off a torn meniscus, and he was the first-round quarterback chosen with 0 seasons of college football with either 3,000 yards passing and 500 yards rushing.
It was the same writer, wasn't it?
Well, either that or he copy and pasted, right? Yeah. He did one of the two.
They might have like AI writing their stories for him. This might not actually be a human writer.
You might be right, because they also bring up Ponder in it again. The most recent passers selected in the top 10, like McCarthy, without either such benchmark, was Joey Harrington.
Yeah,
it was a clear cut.
Completely
So, we know Notorious D.I.G. we were both a bit embarrassed that we couldn't figure it out on our own. But it was about, 15 years ago, Notorious D.I.G. was it
was a light bulb moment
intern for us. Told us that quarterback's the most important position, not only in football, but in all of sports. And I think everything you read, no matter if it's CBS Sports or Fox or the Fish Wraps or Athletic, whatever the case may be, ESPN, you can see how much weight is put on to the quarterback, because they even said that first. Every place else the Vikings have it, they seem like they're a great team. But
if you look at Super Bowl odds at sports books, it's all based off of quarterback play.
Yeah. And that's the wild card here. We just don't know how good he's going to be. And look,
but maybe he's really good.
Well, here's what I'm thinking. I think he's got it. I think he'll probably end up being a quality quarterback. I just don't know if it's going to happen that quickly. It's nice to have what you have around you with, what it seems like being an improved offensive line. I think Thielen, I'm not sure. I mean, I think it's a good move. I just don't know how much he really has left. I do think, though, as I said in the first segment when we were talking about it, I think he wanted to come here. He likes Minnesota. I think that, and like I said earlier, I'm not suggesting he wasn't going to try in Carolina, but now he's here and he's pumped up. I think he wants to make
I saw a video today of his daughter going crazy. Yeah, okay. Super happy they were coming back home.
So I do think as long as he stays healthy, I don't think he's going to have any trouble picking up the playbook. I think that's a bit overrated, because what I read again about O'Connell, the complicated playbook. They say that about every offensive coach, right? All these playbooks are complicated. If you believe football playbooks are complicated, if you do, most of them are. There's hundreds of plays, running, passing. There's different schemes. Players are responsible for all sorts of different movement and different responsibilities. So it's all it can all of it can be complicated, but I think you'll pick up on that. And I think this actually could end up being a move that really does help the Vikings. If Thielen can play like he has in the past, you're sliding in a guy that was it's not like KJ Osborne, where Osborne had a couple of good moments with the Vikings. I know he had one game where I think he had 3 tutties, and he had a couple other moments, but he never game after game. And he was one player rumored to be maybe coming to the Vikings if they weren't able to get the Thielen deal. So if you get KJ Osborne, that's almost a yawn, right? Thielen, because of his track record. Not even, and forget the he's one of us, but just his track record and his wanting to be here. I think that could end up being, I'm not convinced of it because I don't know. Again, he's been injury prone, but I think that could end up being a really, really critical and a good move for the Purple.
Well, I do want to address the question of, does Adam Thielen have anything left? And I get it because he's 35 years old, which in wide receiver years is, most wide receivers are not lasting until 35. Other than Jerry Rice, they're not lasting to 35. In the National Football League. But
2 years ago, he had a great year. Yeah,
2 years ago, he had a great year. He's also not, other than the first 3 games when Aston's out, he's not coming here to be one of your top 2 wide receivers, right? He's going to be a 3rd wide receiver at best, so you just need a role player out mentality out of him. And if you look at him down the stretch last year, after he returned from injury with the Carolina Panthers with Bryce Young as his quarterback, his last 6 games, December 1st, 10 catches, 99 yards, and a tutty. December 8th, 11 catches, 102 yards.
Quack, quack.
December 15th, 7 catches, 51 yards.
Quack, quack.
December 22nd, 6 catches, 43 yards, and a tutty.
Quack, quack.
Versus Tampa Bay on December 29th. 6 catches, 110 yards, 2 touchdowns, and then he finished against Atlanta with 6 catches for 44 yards. That didn't look like he was done to me.
You like him, don't you? You like this move, don't you?
I do like the move. I think it's perfect for the Minnesota Vikings, given the situation they're in. Given that he is a legitimate NFL wide receiver who has some experience with KOC, wants to be here, is familiar with the building and the area. He won't be going to the wrong locker room when he arrives.
Yeah. Are you ready? Skull.
Skull. Skull. Skull. Skull. Skull. Skull. Skull.
Notice we do our skull a little quicker. We don't do it at the stadium. It lasts about 7 minutes. We'd like to make ours a little bit quicker. So there you go. We'll see. It'll be interesting. We've said this ever since, and we'll probably say it a couple 13, 14 more times between now and opening day, which is a week from Monday. You'll hear that game on this radio station. Vikings and Bears, last game of the weekend from Soldier Field on the Monday night game, regardless of what day they play it.
Adam and JJ worked out this summer together, too. I remember seeing video of it. Two of them working out, true. And Thielen commented about what he thought of JJ McCarthy. He thought very highly of him.
But as we've been saying, like I say, we'll say it a couple 13, 14 more times here. So much is going to hinge on his quarterback. Is he more like Joey Harrington, who he's been compared to now twice? Well, not compared to, but they're just saying, hey, the last time anything like this has happened, it was Joey Harrington.
The Ponder-Harrington comparisons are not great.
Yeah. Or is he going to be more like, give me a rookie quarterback that's been really good out of the gate?
Jaden Daniels last year.
Yeah, right there. Is he going to be more like that? Yeah. And I think somewhere in between. But then again, I've been wrong before, not often, but I've been wrong before, so we'll see how that goes. Let's do this. Let's take our final break of this hour. When we come back, Brian Oak, music maven who has his own podcast. Now he's over 500 episodes, the Brian Oak podcast. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Oak will join us here live at the Minnesota State Fair for a rock talk and a Name That Tune game. That's all coming up on the other side of the break. We're broadcasting live from the Minnesota State Fair. We're in Carousel Park on the shadows of the grandstand right here on the Fan.